Welcome back on my channel again with me, Adi. In this special occasion, I would like to do an interesting activity. But today, I'm not alone because I have accompanied by two beautiful girls. So the first one is Mentari and the second one is Rara. Well, without further ado, are you ready for the activity? Alright, so let's start with this video.
Pearls of Wisdom. Daffodils by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads and sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in waken or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils.
Have you watched the video? Great! So today we would like to do a poems analysis based on three Greek elements. The first one is figurative language, second one is rhythm and line, and the third one is about rhyme and sounds. So without further ado, let's begin with the first element. It is figurative language that will be explained by my friend Mentari. So Mentari, are you ready? Alright, let's check it out.
Hello everyone, now I will explain you about the figurative language element that is I found in Daffodil's poetry. There are several elements of figurative language in this poetry, including the first one is simile. So simile are usually used to compare one object to another object using as or like. There are two similes used in this poetry. The first one is I wander lonely as a cloud. In this piece of poetry, it can be seen that the poet compares his loneliness like a cloud. The second is used in the opening line of the second stanza, continuous as the stars that shine. In this fragment of the poetry, the poet compares the daffodil with the countless stars in the sky. Okay, that's all that is included in the simile, and the second one is about personification. There are several fragments of the daffodil's poetry that enter into personification. Personification usually used to illustrate objects other than humans have feeling, behaviors, and physical like humans. In daffodil's poetry, there are several fragments of poetry that are included in personification. The first is in line 3 of the poetry, when all at once I saw a crowd. In this speech of poetry, there is the word crowd, which compare daffodil to humans who are swarming. The second example of personification is used in the second stanza as tossing their heads and sprightly dance. In this part of the poetry, the poet compares it to the daffodils dancing like humans. And the third example in this poem is in the third stanza, such as in jocund company. In this fragment of the poetry, the poet seems to think of the daffodils accompanying him as his friend. And then the next one is about metaphor. In this section, the writer has used one metaphor in this poetry in the last stanza as They flash upon that inward eye. Here the phrase inward eye denotes the sweet memory that the daffodils have given the poet. And the last but not least is image. Okay, in this section makes the reader visualize the poet's feeling and emotion. In this poetry, the imagery is visual such as lonely as a cloud, a crowd, never-ending line, Milky Way, and jocund company. Okay everyone, that's all from me. Next we will hear explanation for second element that will be explained by Ratna. For my turn, go on.
Well, now I would like to tell you about stanza. There are 4 stanzas with 6 lines in each stanza. It has the same number of lines in each stanza. A regular sum and a regular rhyme pattern A B C C. It contains 6 lines for each stanza. And now, caesura. In this poem, there are several caesura that we can see. In the line 5, caesura conjures the image of the speaker surveying the skin, marveling at the sheer abundance of the daffodils. And in the line 13, the caesura introduces another classification. This time, the speaker can compare the relatively joyful appearance of the dancing wave with the even more brilliant look of the daffodil. And the line 19, the caesura is merely part of the last stanza main function, which is to establish why the size of the daffodil is so important. And for the last, the metres. The poem follows lambic tetrameter, which means there are 4 feet per line, or each unstressed syllable is followed by a stressed syllable in the first line of this poem, such as I wandered lonely as a cloud. Well, that's all for second element. Now let's continue for the third element that will be explained by Adi. Hello boy, it's your turn.
So this is my turn to explain the third element of poem analysis, which consists of sounds and rhyme. In this occasion, I would like to explain and also analyze about the first one is alliteration, second is consonants, and the third one is assonance. So, without further ado, let's start with the first part. It is, what is alliteration? Basically, alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line. In this poem entitled Daffodils, there are some examples of alliteration. The first one is G sounds in line I, kiss, and kiss. And the second one is the use of W sounds in the line what will the show to man had brought. Alright, now let's move on to the second part. It is consonants. Maybe all of you is already know what is consonants. Yeah, based on consonants is the repetition of the consonant sounds in words that near each other. In this context or in this poem, there are several examples of consonants. The first one is the use of T sounds in the line what will the show to me had brought. And the second one is the M sounds in line in vacant or in conceive. Alright, now let's move on to the last part. It is about alliterations. So what is about assonance? Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in the same line of a poem. In this context, in this poem, there are several examples of assonance. The first one is the use of A sounds in line 10,000 I saw at a glance. And the second one is the use of E sounds in line they stretch in never ending. Well guys, That's all about our explanation about poem analysis, which just consists of 3 great elements. I hope all of you can enjoy our video, and we would like to say apologize if there are any mistakes because nobody is perfect. Well, see you in another video. Stay healthy, stay safe, and have a pleasant day. Bye.